Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to Tony the Technician's channel. And today on Tool Talk episode 10, I'm going to be going over swivel sockets or universal sockets, both impact and chrome. Just some of the differences in them, why people prefer one over the other, and I'll just show you mine. I have some Gearwrench chrome swivels and some Matco impact swivels, and then I'll show you universal joints as well, but we're not going to get real in depth with those. I'm just kind of use them as a comparison so you guys understand what the differences are. And if you're looking at purchasing either one of these, the Gearwrench and everything will be listed down in the description along with a lot of other tools, so if you're interested in those, they are linked there for you guys. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you do, please make sure to hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and as always, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Thank you guys. Okay YouTubers, so what I have here are the Gearwrench chrome swivel sockets or flex sockets and the Matco ADV impact universal sockets. So starting off with prices, this set is going to run around $75 for both of them. This is the SAE, it's a 7-piece set, and then the metric set, which is I believe 10. Yes, a 10-piece set. So you get these 17 sockets for roughly $75, and then this set, I can't actually pull up the information on it because either Matco's site is down, or anytime I try and search anything on the Matco website right now, it's not coming up. So I can't really give you the information on it, but it does run anywhere from $200 to $400, roughly in that area. You can buy these individually. This set's going to run anywhere from $38 to $45, and this one usually runs around $30 to $35. But purchasing them together, you can get them for $75. The part number is 80565 and 80564 for the SAE. The part number for this Matco is Sierra Bravo Uniform Papa M as in Mike 102 Victor, so SBU PM 102 V. And this is a 12-point set. They do have 6-point sets. Now keep in mind, I did not get to pick which impact swivels I got. This is what the school provided me with the tool set, so I guess they just wanted to go 12-point with it. I don't know why. It is always handy to have some 12 points, but I already have 12-point 3/8 drive, a set just like this, but not swivel. I wouldn't prefer, or I would prefer having 6-point swivel sockets, but these will do the job just fine. I just prefer 6-point over 12-point whenever I possibly can use the 6-point. Now these are not the pinless. The pinless ones are going to be even more expensive, and the Gearwrench also has a set just like this, and it usually runs around 100 to 150, and then 150 to 250 for the pinless version. So it's a little bit cheaper than the Matco, but they're the exact same thing. But we'll get into the designs here real quick, and then we'll go over the advantages of having these sockets compared to using universal joints like this. Okay, let's start off with the Gearwrench chrome sockets. They are both 6 points, like I stated. They will be linked down in the description, or you can search them on eBay or Amazon. Just type in Gearwrench flex sockets and they'll pop up. This SAE set, this 7-piece set, is 3/8 to 3/4, and the metric set, the 10-piece set, ranging from 10 millimeter to 19 millimeter. So a very good variety of sockets for 3/8. Those are your main sizes that you would use in 3/8. And you can get these through other companies, and if you don't like the pin being open to the environment like this, I believe Snap-on and a couple other companies actually have it closed off, so you don't ever have to worry about that pin falling out. But they do have a very nice chrome job, very nice engraving on both sets, and I've really enjoyed them. I haven't really got to use the Matco set. I think I've used it twice, so they're basically all brand new still, but it's at my school box, and I just haven't, really needed to use them. But if I had them here at home, I would have definitely used them a lot more. But since I have these at home, these are a lifesaver, especially compared to when you're using these. So kind of the differences and the reason why they don't make a lot of impact universal sockets in this design is because you kind of think about it like a drive shaft or a U-joint, and that's basically what this is in here, which means you don't actually get a perfect 360. There's some binding in here, and they're just not meant for impacts through an impact gun. It's very rough on them, not just because it's a chrome socket. If this was impact grade steel, it still would not hold up as well because of the binding in the joint, and rotating at that fast of a speed, you're just going to have issues. That's why most of the time when you get a U-joint or a flex adapter for your impact, it's more this style more often than it is this style. Now don't get me wrong, you can get this style in the impact grade, but a lot of people don't like using those. You already have issues with these staying together when they're not impact grade. Then you got a 3-piece moving at a high rate of speed. People tend to have a lot of issues with them. That's why this is the preferred universal joint over the other style. This is made for impacts, this is not. Granted, this one does have a little bit of flex in it, all of them do, but it absorbs the impacts much better. Now this is also a pin style, and what I mean by pin style is they actually have a pin going through the center. Not sure if you guys can see that all that well. Try and get the light on it just right, but there's a pin that runs through there, and basically it has this sleeve slid over the actual socket portion or the base of the adapter, and that's holding this together. Now the pinless style doesn't have this outer sleeve, and it's all held together very nicely, and it has a much smaller diameter because it doesn't have this sleeve over it. That's why the pinless version of these joints and the pinless version of the universal impact sockets are much more expensive, usually about double the price as the pin style. But I've been perfectly happy with my pin style. Granted, the diameter is a little bit bigger than the pinless, but I haven't really had any issues getting into spaces or anything. These have been really great. Also, you can get these in mid-length and deep well universal sockets, but obviously the bigger, the more expensive. You can also get them in all 3 drive sizes. But as far as this is a 12-point set, just like I said earlier, but I want to get another set in 6 points, so I don't know if I'm going to go with Sun-X for around $60, Gearwrench for around $100, or if I'm going to go with professional grade and spend over $150. Most likely I'll end up with Sun-X or Gearwrench, but we will see in the future. This is from 10 to 19, and these have been great. They're chromoly, they're not chrome vanadium, and this rail works great. It does have the hole here to hold it on your impact if you have the detent pin instead of the hog ring, but it also stays on the hog ring style impacts very nicely as well. Haven't had an issue with them falling off or anything, but like I was showing you, these kind of bind. You can't go in a perfect circle, whereas these rotate in a perfect circle, no binding whatsoever, and you get a little bit of play in here in all directions. So you wouldn't want to use these to torque something down to a specific torque, but for the job of using an impact, these are absolutely amazing. So you got kind of it laser etched the size over on this side, and then over here it says ADV Matco and the part number, and then up here it will also say chromoly. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then it has 14 millimeter, just in case this ever gets rubbed off. You have it up here on the head of the socket as well. So I really enjoyed these. I would have preferred 6-point, but this is what I got, and I'm making do with it. No sense in spending the extra money to get the 6-point right now when these have been doing the job just fine, since I've only really used them a couple times. But if you guys are interested in any of these, I will have these linked down in the description. I'm sorry the Matco site is down right now, so I can't give you the exact specifics on this, but I did give you the part number, so you can search it if you would like. But now we're going to get into why these are so much better than having to use these types of joints. So getting into the last thing I want to talk about, this isn't as big of a deal for a do-it-yourselfer. Most of the time you can get away with just having these universal joints or adapters. You got a little storm rolling in. But as a professional, you find yourself working on many more things than you would at home a majority of the time. That's where these types of sockets already with the universal feature in them come in handy. For one, when you're working in the professional field, you come across a lot more situations where you're finding yourself in very tight spaces. And when you have universal joints like this and this, the problem with it is these are already basically the same height and you haven't even adapted your socket to it yet. So when you're in those tight spots, this might not be able to get into areas where this can. Like when I was doing my motor mounts on my K-member of my Camaro, I could not get this in there. This, on the other hand, fit perfectly and I was able to get the motor mounts on no problem. Also with these style, sometimes they'll get loose and flop around, especially with the added weight of the socket added onto this universal joint. You get it real floppy, so a lot of people will actually wrap electrical tape around here to keep the pin from falling out and to stiffen it up at the right angle where they need it. But once again, you do get binding with these, but you're using them on a ratchet, so it's okay. You're not moving at high speeds, whereas these, you would be moving at a high rate and various impacts. So these still come in handy a lot, but it still has a shallower profile than the one that's already built in. Now granted, sometimes you need a deep well socket, and if you don't feel like purchasing the deep well version of these and saving some money, you can just attach your deep well to here and hopefully get the job done. But they do sell these in mid-length and deep well, so they can work for many different situations, but they do get pretty expensive. So if you're interested, a lot of different manufacturers make these. Just look up universal impact socket set and you'll be able to find all the brands that makes these styles. And you can either get them pin style, where it's just going to have a little bit bigger diameter because of this sleeve, or you can get the pinless, which is going to be more expensive, but you're going to get a smaller diameter for those even tighter situations. So that's the advantage of these already universal sockets compared to the universal joints. You have a smaller profile on both of them, which makes it really handy. So that's about it for what I have on these universal flex sockets from Gearwrench and the universal impact sockets from Matco. Now, once again, I do wish these were 6 points, but maybe later on in the future I will get a 6-point set. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. Okay, YouTubers, so that's it for Tool Talk episode 10, where I went over my Gearwrench universal sockets and my Matco universal impact sockets. Those sockets are a great thing and a great addition to anybody's toolbox, whether you're a professional or a do-it-yourselfer. Professional will definitely find more uses for it, but they're always going to be handy for a do-it-yourselfer as well. But like I stated, they're going to run around $50 to $100 for the chrome version and about $100 to $450 for the impact version, depending on what brand you go with. So they do get pretty expensive. There are the pin style and the pinless style, and then the chrome sockets are just the U-joint version. And that's fine because you're using it with a ratchet and it works really well. So I really hope you guys find this informative, and I hope if you guys are looking for a set of these, they will be linked down in the description, and I hope they are very helpful for you, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and as always, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Thank you.